The year is 2024 and democracy is having a moment. Well, more like a stress-induced meltdown. On both sides of the pond, voters in the US and the UK are gearing up for elections that feel less like choosing a leader and more like picking the least offensive option in a political escape room. In the US, it's a rematch for the ages, or perhaps more accurately for the baby boomers. Joe Biden, the incumbent who promised a return to normalcy, faces off against his predecessor, the human equivalent of a Twitter meltdown, Donald Trump. Meanwhile, in the UK, Rishi Sunak, the current Prime Minister, often accused of being more in touch with the lifestyles of the rich and famous than the average Brit, battles it out with Labour leader Keir Starmer, who faces his own set of internal party struggles. It's a political buffet, where the options seem to range from slightly stale to actively hazardous to your health. So let's break down the contenders, shall we? We'll examine their records, their controversies, and how they might just make your head spin faster than a politician trying to explain away a campaign promise. Buckle up, voters, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Section 4. Sunak's tightrope balancing elitism and economic policy. Across the Atlantic, Rishi Sunak finds himself walking a political tightrope thinner than a strand of his wife's tax-exempt fortune.
Sunak, a former investment banker with a penchant for expensive suits and even pricier policies, is often perceived as being out of touch with the average Brit, struggling with the cost of living crisis. His supporters praise his economic acumen and his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, citing his furlough scheme as a lifeline for businesses. However, critics argue that his policies favor the wealthy and do little to address income inequality.
Section 5. Starmer's challenge unifying Labour amidst accusations. Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, faces an uphill battle against Sunak.
He's portrayed as a steady hand, a stark contrast to the previous Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn. However, Starmer has struggled to unify a party still reeling from internal divisions. He's been criticised for his handling of allegations of anti-Semitism within Labour and accused of lacking the charisma to connect with voters. Whether he can overcome these challenges to present a viable alternative to Sunak's Conservatives remains to be seen.
Section 6. The lesser of two evils. A global voters' quandary. As Election Day looms, voters on both sides of the Atlantic are left grappling with the familiar dilemma, choosing the lesser of two evils.
It's a choice between the familiar, if flawed, incumbent and the unpredictable, potentially volatile challenger. In the US, it's a battle between Biden's experience and Trump's chaos. In the UK, it's Sunak's elitism versus Starmer's struggles to unite his party. It's a decision that will shape the future of both nations, for better or worse.
So, dear voters, as you head to the polls, remember to breathe. Consider your options carefully, and maybe pack a stiff drink, because no matter who wins, we're all going to need it.